This episode of Mid-Ohio Rock Show is brought to you by Two Cousins Pizza Company. Located at 103 North Main Street in downtown Mansfield, Two Cousins offers the stromboli pizza, subs, and stromboli in the area at family-friendly prices. Check out their website at twocousinspizzaco.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Tommy Barnes and welcome to the Mid-Ohio Rock Show. You know, our countdown to our 100th episode is ongoing. Hard to believe that literally 7 years has gone by when we started this thing so many years ago, and by the time we hit right around Thanksgiving, we're going to have our 100th episode. But right now we're kind of creeping into the 90s as far as bringing you some great acts and great entertainers that get a chance to stop by Mansfield here. Certainly, first off and foremost, want to thank Susie Soprano with the City News, Susie Smokehouse. Thanks, Susie, for allowing us to film here, which we have done quite often. And the band I want to introduce you to tonight has actually got a chance to play here probably about a year ago, I guess. It was the first Friday Shop Hop. And actually where our producer Ryan is, right behind him, is where this band got a chance to set up. These guys I saw, they're called 45 Spider. I actually got a chance to not really meet them, but check out their band probably 3 summers ago. It was the White Lightning Run, a really cool event that Bill Zerzo put on down by Malabar Farm. Just a huge piece of property, a bunch of really cool rat rods were there, and just had a riot. And I think one of the things that really kind of grabbed me about this band, and I guess really I want to start with Nick for a quick second. This is Nick, Ryan, Hadley, and Kevin. Nick, one of the cool things, man, having grown up, going to high school in the early 70s and stuff like that, one of my influences, I guess, was Dion. And then I kind of, because I love that surf rock sound. I mean, everybody plays guitar, but when you start incorporating a little bit of attitude to it, it really kind of changed things. And then there was another band I ran into. A lot of guys that were in the Vietnam War that kind of came back, we're talking about a band called the Sonics.
Okay.
And when you really get into that reverb of that guitar, and then when I flash forward now and think about one of my favorite bands, it's Monster Magnet. And so talking about the guitar playing, what kind of drove you towards kind of going that direction?
Started off with the 50s sound. Everybody starts with Chuck Berry and Buddy Holly.
Right.
And after that, you kind of creep into like the glammy 70s Keith Richards sort of Stones thing, and then you just start poking around in different directions. So you do the serious riffing stuff for a while, then you go back to the simple stuff for a while. Eventually you cop the style of guitar you're going to play. I'm a Stratocaster guy myself.
Right.
And you find out what you like, where the knobs and switches are, what you're going to do. And for me, a big influence for that was Richie Blackmore. Believe it or not, if you ever watch that guy play, he was all over the place like this. Although the 70s rock sound isn't really what defined us, there's a lot of that influence in this band.
Hadley's the lead singer, and I think one of the cool things when I saw your band down at the White Lightning Run was all the pinup girls everywhere, and the poodle skirts and the polka dots and the hairdos, and catching your band that evening. I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but I knew at that moment this is the band we need to bring as you are from Cleveland down here to Mansfield. And you guys had a chance to actually play not only here, but a couple times down this way.
Yeah, and we play a lot of the gigs we have. We're liked by a lot of different crowds of people. We appeal to a lot of different people, but definitely the automotive crowd, so all the hot rodders and bikers. So that seems to be one of the things, a common denominator. So we play a lot of events like that have that in play.
Well, one of the cool things that I was funny listening to Kevin talk on the stage before we walked up here. You guys were talking cars, you're talking carburetors. Man, the rat rods are so cool. I mean, yeah, you can have a $50,000 paint job, but man, how cool is the rust buckets? Those things are the bomb, in my opinion.
Well, to each their own. I'm more of a shiny car guy myself.
Are you?
I mean, I do custom paint, so
Well, yeah.
I look at a rat rod and I'm just thinking, boy, that'd be really nice with a little metal repair and some primer and some paint and some really groovy.
You're starting to pull the 3M
candy
out of your back pocket then, aren't you, at that point?
Everybody likes different things, though, and the nice thing about anything that's got tires on it, usually there's some sort of a common bond amongst everybody when it comes to that. So.
Well, I think you guys have hooked up with shows with the Highway Hellions, and those guys are kind of known for the whole rat rod scenario, right?
To some extent, some of those guys have got really nice cars.
Yeah.
So like smooth, shiny, they have a little bit of both.
Yeah. A lot of the hot rodders, it's like anything else. They all have their own personal style and their own likes and dislikes. So, I think that it kind of, every car club like that kind of runs a gamut. You've got a little bit of everything.
Hey, this is Ryan sitting over here. Ryan's a drummer for the band, and I didn't realize this, but Ryan's dad and I, Ron Allen, actually worked at the radio station here in Mansfield for iHeart for a gazillion years. And I'll tell you right now, like I told you on the stage, when I got a chance to work with your dad, one of the things I told him, he's a man of endless words, and you can never keep up with him, but what he did for me was made me better at what I do. And I'm thinking to a certain degree that probably applies to you in your musical path. It probably made you a better person at what you do.
Yeah, a little bit. I think, I don't know if work ethic is the right word, but yeah, Dad, he doesn't stop. He just does stuff, and he just, whatever it is, like if it's got to get done, he'll be up all night doing it, and he'll just take care of whatever he's got to take care of. And his dad was that way too. Grandpa was that way, and he recently passed away. But hearing my dad talk about his dad the same way that I think about him was interesting, because I think he feels like he got that from his dad, and I feel like I got that from him to some extent, for sure.
You have other family members that play in bands. Do you feel like your drumming style is different than a quote-unquote kind of a normal rock band compared to what you're doing now? Did you find yourself playing with a different flair, a different attitude with these guys?
Yeah, actually, I play in a band from Pittsburgh called Motherhawk, and I was playing a big ridiculous rock kit, big kick drums, big toms, a bunch of cymbals. And when I started playing with this band, I really just pared it down to like really, really basic, and just tried to smash the hell out of stuff. Like just tried to play in like a really aggressive style with like very minimal sort of equipment, and totally different kind of vibe. And but I think like he was saying, I think there's definitely a punk rock element to this, and there's aggression in it, and like so it's similar in some ways, and a little bit it definitely a little bit of a different style with this for sure.
right.
That's a great band.
Talk about the beginning of the band and when you guys got this thing started, Kevin. Tell me about that.
Well,
Enough said.
We
Cut.
were in about a 7-piece band that it was kind of just a thing that started in a basement, but it was
Kind of like
literally-
jam night.
Well, yeah, because like I'm a bit new to this and probably easily the weakest link in the band, and so I was literally kind of learning and playing and screwing around with it, and it turned into a 7-piece band. I drug my wife in because she's fronted a bunch of bands in the past, and so we needed a decent singer, and it turned into this thing we were having fun with for a while, and then 4 of us broke away from that band and decided to start 45 Spider because we wanted to kind of have a little bit more fuzz, a little more of a garage style vibe, and like I said, it was an interesting thing to break away and do without going into too many details, but filtered down to where I think we've got our strongest lineup ever. And honestly, these guys are so insanely talented. All I do is learn from them every single time we play, and we have so much fun on stage. It's just
It reminds me,
really
I guess,
good
what I
time.
said about Ryan and working with his father. Every time I worked with him, it made me better. I could never keep up with him, but it allowed me to get better at what I did, too. You guys play some really cool venues. I think one of my favorites is the Beachland Ballroom. And there's a good friend of mine, Nancy Wasson, who lives over in Ashland, is always talking about Archie and the Bunkers and the Woggles. And you've had a chance to probably play with them,
Yeah.
haven't you?
oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, tell me about that experience. That's got to be a
Archie and the
blast.
Bunkers are great. In fact, another project I'm in, we cut a single with those kids. And outstanding. They're the future for sure. They've been touring, they've been going overseas, and they have a really good producer. And watch, in another 5 or 7 years, we're going to see them up on the Grammy stage.
Oh, how
That's
cool
what
would
I'm
that
feeling
be?
about that. I think they're the chosen ones.
It's really neat. We're really blessed here in Mansfield. The young man that's playing down at the Final Friday stage right now, Chase Pierre. I could rattle off a lot of names: Jay Marina, Emily Raff. There's Ricky Mitchell. A lot of these young kids that are coming up, our children, so to speak, or maybe grandchildren. But it's cool to see that younger generation grasping what you guys are doing and playing. You think so, Roy?
Yeah, for sure. It's I think the internet. I think a lot of musicians talk sort of like oh, the internet has ruined music. The internet's doing this and that. But one of the things the internet does is it makes everyone into a record store guy. Like when we were all kind of younger. The guy that knew about all the music was the guy that worked at the record store. So if you wanted to know like what band was connected to some other band, you had to go ask that guy. And if that guy wasn't friendly with you, you didn't know that guy. Like you sort of had a problem. But now we're all record store guys. Like we can actually go find the connections ourselves. Like we have this massive catalog of music and connections and stuff on the internet. And people that are younger than us are better at using those resources than we are.
Yeah.
So every one of those kids, if they want to be, are record store guys. They really have a great access to all this music history and can really like pursue specific interests, stuff that we would have had a really hard time figuring out. So I think we are going to start people a screwdriver. 4 people are going to screw something up real bad, and there's 2 people who are going to be able to fix something. So same kind of deal.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to have you guys up on the stage down here at the Brickyard. A real thrill having you. We got Kevin Hadley, Nick and Ryan from 45 Spider. Hey, I'm Tommy Barnes. Go Tribe. Hopefully by the time you guys are watching this episode, we're talking World Series 2nd year in a row. Thanks, guys, for being part of Rock's show. And I can't wait to introduce you to the crowd down here in a little bit.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, thanks. We'll catch you later.
Oh yeah, now I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to make you cry. Come on, now forgive me, honey. I'll never tell another lie. Well, you know that every need me. All you gotta do is pick up don't you show it. Somehow I know that you still want me. So come on, baby, make me know it. Well, you know that if you need me, well, all you gotta do is pick up the phone and call me, and I'll come running home. Yeah, I'll come running home. Well, I'll come running over. Well, I'll come running over. Well, I'll come running over. And I'll give my love to you. And I'll give my love to you. So come on, honey, think it over. Don't let your foolish pride in there. If I have broken your heart, baby, well then give me one last chance to mend it. Yeah, well you know that if you need me, well all you gotta do, pick up the phone and call me, and I'll come running home. Yeah, I'll come running home. Well, I'll come running over. Well, I'll come running over. Well, I'll come running over. And I'll give my love to you.
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 And I'll give my love to you. Running over, baby, baby. In the daytime, in the nighttime, running over, yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you.